Here's a confessional. I've been a homeschool mom for a couple decades of 4 kids, and some days I could quote that theater play or that theater production, "We got trouble in River City." Might be me, might be them, probably both, but the trouble is the energy. Parenting does that for you some days, revealing a big old scary mess. And here's the confessional. Some days it looks like a big old mess, and I'm wondering what I'm doing. All our messy insides get thrown out onto the table. Parenting while homeschooling gives us an opportunity to see all the things inside. And we get to see it a whole lot more regularly. Having said that, I'll remind myself on those days, and I'll remind you too, that there are some distinct advantages to this homeschool lifestyle. I get to be with my kids. Yeah, I know there are days when nobody wants to be with somebody all the time. And definitely not when I'll experience the same kind of days that those River City days feel like. And we know that when we get to be with our kids, though, it will reveal a lot of interpersonal work or stuff that we have to do inside here. And some days that feels daunting. Yet I get to see every moment where they grow, both physically and also their interests develop. They get to develop their skills, and I get to see it all. And when I get to see those chubby little hands, those mile-wide smiles, and be surrounded with loads of cuteness, I am very thankful that I came across this lifestyle. The second thing I've seen is that we get freedom. We got a whole lot of freedom. We can follow our rhythms. No school for us during certain hours if we don't choose so, or we can if we want to, but we learn what we want when we want it, and we can do it in whatever way works for us. The third thing I've learned is that I don't have to fuss about bedtimes and wake times. Though I do have my routine, I can be very flexible with whatever my kids need. The fourth thing is that I don't rush out of the house, in the morning. I rush out of the house in the afternoon. Or I organize kids' extracurricular activities in the evening hours when they and I want to rest. I don't have to do that if I don't want to either. The fifth thing I've noticed is that I don't have to report to anyone why I'm doing what I'm doing. That I've learned is unique to the province that I live in, but I don't have that. I have freedom in how I am doing things in my home. The sixth thing I've learned is that I don't have to buy school clothes, indoor shoes, or any prescribed school stuff that isn't meaningful to me. I buy clothes for the season, thankfully, with 3 little girls. Long pants in September can be capris by summer. The seventh thing I've seen is that I don't fuss that my kids aren't learning math concepts at the same stage or rate as their similar aged counterparts. They might learn about fractions when they're 6 or when they're 12. The eighth thing that I've seen is that I don't need to waste their childhood helping them to recite anything for standardized testing. Instead, they just spend time learning about topics that they're curious about or that I'm curious about. The ninth thing is that I learn things about things I never thought I would learn, and this has been a giant privilege of the homeschool mama lifestyle. Like I've learned about all things world economics, all things geology, zoology, British history, quantum physics we've even touched on, and my favorite, fine arts. The 10th thing is that I've seen we can pursue stuff no one puts in a typical curriculum anymore, like Latin, classical composers, and impressionist art, and learning laundry, household management, and cooking. I get to spend more time doing things that I love too. That's the 11th thing. I get to learn my own learning, like reading, writing, reading about writing, going to coffee shops to write, hanging out with people who like to write, and journaling. The 12th thing I've seen is that I have learned not to care what the mass culture cares about. like I actually don't care. I don't even notice. Like about stuff and what kind of stuff is cool. Because then I don't have to worry about stuff management and thinking I'm important because I own the right stuff. I still don't own an air fryer. The 13th thing I've seen is that I've learned to befriend people that I like and who make sense to me, not because they're put in my sphere without my permission. I'm not just placed into a social system myself, like a school system, where I have to mix and move together. I get to choose who our friends and our community will be. The 14th thing is there is always an opportunity for connecting with my kids each day, usually with each child. Sometimes that requires a lot of intention, but I can give my kids eyeball to eyeball time each day. That might mean different things with different kids, like maybe moments involving Legos with one, discussions of the recently watched episode of Full House with another, or chopping mushrooms for lunch with another, staring intently into one another's eyes, as long as I can get that eyeball to eyeball time, and kissing their little faces in many creative ways. And there is one child that will let me do that. But I always have an opportunity to connect with each of my kids each day. And the 15th thing is that I get to seriously influence my kids. My attitude, my focus in life, these are imprinted for good or for bad. And sometimes it isn't great. And some things I need to learn, because I have learned this one thing in my parenting years. It is more is caught than taught. But who else would I want my kids to be imprinted by? The 16th thing that I've seen is that I get to work hard to connect their hearts to mine, to be attached and connected to them. The only things that get in the way are my imperfections and theirs, which is actually a lot of stuff. But those are just opportunities for personal growth, and conflict just gives us an opportunity to build closer connection for both of us. And hopefully one day they'll look back and say, my childhood was my family, the good, the bad, sometimes ugly, and on the days when the downsides seem awful down, I can know that the way through it is to focus on the upside, because there are a whole